He doesn't argue. He doesn't explain himself endlessly. He doesn't react the way you expect. And that's exactly why Stoic men are so difficult to manipulate. This isn't about being cold. It's about something far more powerful. It's about the silent boundary. Most people think manipulation works through dominance, aggression, or clever words. In reality, manipulation survives on emotional access. The moment someone can control how you feel, they can control how you act. Stoic men quietly deny that access. Not with force, not with threats, but with composure. They don't announce boundaries. They live them. And that changes everything. A Stoic man understands something most people learn too late. You don't need to react to every stimulus. When someone tries to provoke him through guilt, anger, jealousy, or fear, he doesn't rush to defend himself. He pauses. He observes. He chooses his response instead of surrendering it. That pause is deadly to manipulation. Because manipulation depends on urgency, on emotional pressure, on pushing you into a reaction before you can think. The Stoic man slows the game down. And when the game slows down, the manipulator loses power. Think about how most people get controlled. They over-explain. They chase validation. They fear being misunderstood. They fear being abandoned. So when someone pulls away, they panic. When someone criticizes them, they collapse. When someone withholds approval, they overcompensate. A Stoic man doesn't. Not because he's numb, but because he has already accepted uncertainty. He knows people may leave. He knows he may be disliked. He knows life owes him nothing. That acceptance makes him emotionally untouchable. You can't threaten someone with loss when they've already made peace with it. This is where the silent boundary becomes visible. A Stoic man doesn't say, "Don't disrespect me." He simply disengages when respect disappears. He doesn't say, "You crossed a line." He changes how much access you have to him. No speeches, no drama, no emotional leaks, just distance. And distance is the most misunderstood form of power. Manipulators expect confrontation. They expect tears. They expect anger. Distance confuses them, because distance removes the reward. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Manipulation only works when you need something emotionally. Attention, approval, reassurance, control. Stoic men have trained themselves to meet those needs internally. They don't outsource their self-worth. So when someone tries to use affection as leverage, or silence as punishment, or drama as control, it falls flat. There's nothing to grab onto. Notice how Stoic men communicate. They don't overtalk. They don't overshare. They don't emotionally dump. Their words are measured. That alone makes manipulation harder. Because manipulators need information. They need emotional data. They need to know what hurts you, what scares you, what makes you crave reassurance. The Stoic man keeps his inner world private, not because he's secretive, but because he understands value. And what is not constantly displayed cannot be easily exploited. Another reason Stoic men are hard to manipulate? They don't confuse emotions with commands. Feeling angry doesn't mean acting angry. Feeling hurt doesn't mean reacting hurt. Feeling lonely doesn't mean chasing connection. They let emotions pass through them without letting emotions drive them. This is terrifying for someone who relies on emotional chaos to gain control. Because guilt stops working. Shame loses its grip. Fear doesn't escalate into obedience. The Stoic man feels, but he decides. There's a moment every manipulator waits for. The crack. The moment you break composure. The moment you start explaining yourself. The moment you try to fix how they feel. Stoic men rarely give that moment. They don't argue feelings. They don't debate intentions. They don't beg to be understood. They accept that some people will misunderstand them. And that acceptance is freedom. This doesn't mean Stoic men are passive. Quite the opposite. Their boundaries are firm precisely because they're quiet. No emotional warning shots. No repeated chances. No endless forgiveness cycles. When a line is crossed enough times, they don't explode. They exit. And once access is gone, it rarely returns in the same way. That consistency builds respect even from people who don't like them. Because unpredictability invites manipulation. Predictable standards repel it. Here's the deeper layer most people miss. Stoic men don't see themselves as victims. They don't narrate their life as something happening to them. They see challenges, pressure, and manipulation attempts as neutral events, tests of character, not personal attack. That mindset changes everything. You can't emotionally hook someone who refuses to personalize your behavior. If you're angry, that's your emotion. If you're disappointed, that's your expectation. If you're trying to control, that's your insecurity. The Stoic man doesn't absorb it. This is why Stoic men often appear calm in situations that would break others. They're not calm because nothing affects them. They're calm because they've already decided who they are and who they won't become under pressure. They won't beg. They won't manipulate back. They won't trade dignity for comfort. And that makes them dangerous in the best way. The silent boundary isn't about dominance. It's about self-respect. It's about knowing where you end and others begin. It's about refusing to bleed emotionally just to keep someone close. And that's why Stoic men are hard to manipulate. Because you can't control someone who doesn't need your approval, your reactions, or your permission to stay whole. They don't fight manipulation. They outgrow it. And in a world obsessed with noise, explanation, and emotional chaos, that quiet strength speaks the loudest.